Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Beauty Connective podcast, where beauty professionals all over the industry are coming together to grow, connect, and get really real about what it's like mixing business with beauty. This episode is brought to you by the Beauty Connective, a brand new beauty directory and search engine created by beauty professionals for beauty professionals that makes it easier than ever for clients in your local area to filter by location, pricing, availability, and read reviews to find you without you having to be on the social media grind. Today I'm here with Maddy Fries, a Midvale-based nail tech here in Utah, and we're going to talk about something that we haven't really deep dived into on the podcast yet, more about the motions and the emotional side of being a nail tech. But thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. So excited.
Before we jump into the emotional side of things, tell us a little bit about your journey in the nail industry and how you got started and where you're at now.
So I guess I was like going through all these jobs and I was like, I'm not sure which one is going to work out for me. I just feel like jobs nowadays are just not for me. I went to college and all that stuff. And so I remember I just like made a Facebook post of like, anyone know what to do with my life? And like someone literally was like, have you thought about being a nail tech? And I was like, yeah, I've kind of always thought about it, but you know, kind of there's like this weird like, oh, you want to do beauty? It's like, everyone does beauty, or, oh, that's not a real job or whatever. So that would always put me back. And so finally I just like bit the bullet and I posted on the Salt Lake, Utah nail page. And then I found an apprenticeship. And it was kind of like she had her own home base and we did an apprenticeship there. And she like worked with me like, it was crazy. I got really lucky with the apprenticeship I had. Like, shout out to my instructor, Terry, because that was awesome. Because now I know it's, like, really hard to, like, afford it now to, like, become a nail tech. So it's crazy. But, yeah, I did that. I did it a little bit longer than most nail techs because usually, you know, it's, like, about 3 months. But I was working full-time, so I did it in 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was, like, coming after work. And then after that, my first year, I then worked in a walk-in like nail salon downtown. And it was kind of like the bougier salon, you know, like they pride themselves off of luxury and like vegan products. And then I started working under like these people and like it's all right, but you know, it's like working in like a traditional sense salon where it's like commission based wasn't really for me. And especially walk-ins, like that's because you're going to get all kinds of clients. And then I also went and worked at another salon downtown. I did that for the first years, but I saw it as more as like, let's me just get some like practice in, because your first year of like being a solo nail tech is just, you know, guessing. Like you're just figuring it out, like all the bases, and then you're like set to the fire and go ahead and figure it out. So I was like, okay, the first year I'm just gonna do these these nail appointments, and that will help me get and that really did help me like figure out how to talk to different types of people, because all different types of people come in the walk-in salons. And it also helped me like, I don't know, be more accountable to myself. And so not only did like doing nails, like I learned a skill, but it also like kind of changed me in a way of like being more responsible and more accountable, because you realize like these people will just see you. So they think, oh, this is who it is. This is the business. This is who this person is. And so they always like want to bring it up to you. So it's like it's a different experience, because my whole life I was working in these crazy jobs and I never was in charge. So it's like a different feeling. And I remember that was like a moment where I was like, okay, I need to do booth rent. I need to do my own thing, because I'm obviously can do it. I'm just paying like 50% of my income into somebody else. And so, yeah, and then I bit the bullet and I started working at the salon I'm at now. And I've been there for like 3 years now. It's crazy. And I love it. I love working for myself. I love doing nails. I love like the relationships I've made doing nails. Like it's changed my life for the better. It's awesome.
Totally. That's amazing. Congrats on persisting. And I think that everyone kind of has that first year or two experience of just like, you're kind of like doing the time. You're putting in that first learning experience where you're just, it's like all growth and can be painful learning experience for sure. What were some of those growing pains for you?
Oh my gosh, like, it's like when you first start, it's like everyone wants you to be perfect right out the like get go. Like, and some people are like naturally really good at nails. Like once they do, some people just have the knack for it, or maybe they've like, been doing it on the side and then finally got licensed, and that's totally fine. But, it's like that was the hardest part. It was like people would tell me to my face, like, you suck. Like, I don't like my nails. And like, that was hard. Like, I had to like get some tough skin and learn how to stand up for myself and be like, and that was like a whole personality change for me because I've always been like a people pleaser. And so like that is like a really hard emotional thing to be like, I need to think of myself and be like, well, like this is how I am for now. But now it's crazy because the first big growing pains was just a lot of comparing. A lot of like, you see all these nail techs, especially ones that probably are on your level or maybe like started at the same time as you and they're maybe a little bit better and maybe doing a little bit better in their business or something. You're always comparing yourself to other nail techs and like you don't know their story. And they don't know yours. Like we all have a different timeline. It's like that's what I had to keep telling myself. Like we all start somewhere.
I actually just posted a story on Instagram the other day where I was just saying like I'm feeling really burned out posting on social media.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
And somebody responded and said, I already feel burned out and I haven't even started yet because I'm so new and I feel like I'm just like not good enough yet. Like I can't post yet because I haven't like reached a certain level.
Yeah.
What's sort of like your response to something like that?
I think that's just totally normal to feel burnt out. Like you're gonna feel burnt out. And you got to remember to tell yourself like I need to make time for myself. Especially with social media, like I totally get it. There's some nail techs who are just awesome at it, like they've made a brand for themselves as their nails. But, it's like it's important to take breaks and like just don't overextend yourself because there's some nail techs who don't post at all and they do great. Like they do awesome. And it just all depends on like how you get your clients. Like I feel like for example, like the salon owner I work with, like a lot of her clients are just word of mouth. A lot of like, oh, she does her friends. And then she never posts on social media. And so like, there's not, just because you don't post on social media doesn't mean you're not going to get clients. I feel like this is how we are now in social media. And that's why I love this website because that exact reason is like, we're not all built for social media.
Yeah. Man, I could go off about it.
Yeah.
For sure. I want to kind of go back though to how you were talking about people like telling you to your face like that you're not good or saying things about your nails. That is like that's got to be like such a deep cut.
Yes.
Especially as a beginner. How did you like overcome that? How did you work through that?
Honestly, it's like you got to just like kind of let it like brush it off your shoulder. Because in the end of the day, because everyone's going to have different expectations of you. And some people who don't even know you're going to have expectations of you. And so it's just like, you got to remember, like, where you're at. Like, you're like, I understand that not everything is going to be perfect and everything takes time. Like, I'm literally on my 5th year and I'm finally like looking at my nails like, wow, they actually all look good. Like, and from my like professional opinion now, And it's crazy how time flies like that because for a while you think you suck. And then one day you just are great. And it's just like, you just got to keep doing it. Like, even though people are like rude, like, yes, it hurts. Like, it feels like someone stabs you in the heart when someone's like, I really don't like these nails, or they complain. But you got to really try your hardest to not like take it too hard. Because again, it's just nails. But yeah, like, it's just like brush it off your shoulder and just remember like consistency is the best. Like, that's like what breaks us, I think, if like every time we get rejected or like get told we're bad, then we would all fail and like we would not a lot of us would be nail techs because yeah, I've been told I suck a million times.
Yeah. And that's something that is so hard to like. It would be really easy to let yourself give in to quitting after that, something like that, when like someone else tells you something that, especially if you're already like wondering that in your mind, like, oh, I wonder if I'm even doing a good job. And then they tell you and you're like, oh my God.
Well, yes, it is, because like every time on a daily basis when you do nails, you're always like, oh, I could have done better on that one set. I kind of rushed that. And then you kind of like, it eats at you. And people don't know that. And we just like kind of have to hold it in. And then you just kind of hope. But sometimes it's like, you just got to keep trying. at the end, just keep trying. Like, this was what builds like tough skin. Gotta keep trying no matter what. Even when people keep telling you like, you suck, or I don't like the way you do this. It's like, you will get better. Like, we always have something that we're not good at, and then we get better.
Yeah.
It's the only option.
Yeah. And persisting, like, time's going to pass anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a thing I've learned too. It's like, consistency is like, once you keep doing it, like, you can only get better. That's like the best advice. You just keep doing it. You're only going to get better. You can't get worse. You just got to keep going.
What are some of the other emotions that you have run into and think a lot about just being a nail tech all these years?
I just think like I like always think about like how I should have done things differently in the beginning. I'm like, oh, I should have just like did booth rent right away instead of doing commission, because I feel like I lost a lot of money in that, or I feel like I wasted time with a business that I didn't really enjoy. And so I do a lot of regret some of the things I did in like the beginning of my career, but then again, I feel like I had to do those things to get where I'm at now, because I dived into it full time. Like I didn't have a job. I just went right into nails full time, and that was like my only option, was to get right into it.
I think that's something that stops a lot of people from like wanting to jump into something, is thinking like, well, what if I don't do it the perfect way the first time?
Yes.
What if I don't have the right setup that sets me up for success the most? But it's the doing of it and the trying and failing that I think is what leads to success.
Exactly. That's like, rejection is just redirection. Like, that's such a good thing. I've heard it from so many people telling me that. It's, it builds, like I've said a million times, like, it builds character. It really does. Like, I'm still sensitive. Like, I still, like, sometimes when people stop coming to me, I'm like, ouch, or, just like, or they don't like their nails or didn't like the art I did. It still hurts. But in the end, it's like, it makes you feel, I guess it changes you in a way of like sticking up for yourself and making it feel, I don't know, make comfortable. Because I felt like making boundaries with people would be really hard with doing nails, because when I was doing walk-ins, like, boundaries are not a thing in walk-in salons. And so, yeah, that was like something really hard. But yeah, people are really respectful if you're like really up with your boundaries in the beginning.
Let's talk about the boundaries, or the lack of boundaries, in a walk-in salon. What does that sort of look like? What do you mean when you say there's no boundaries in walk-ins?
Because there's so different expectations, because we have different kinds of walk-in salons in Utah. And so, like, for example, mine was always like the ingrown toenails. Like, oh, can you get the ingrown toenails? And then explaining to them, like, we don't do that, and then having to explain to them there's other salons that do it and they're not supposed to do it, but not trying to talk negatively or ill about other nail techs. And so those boundaries are really hard to enforce when like other salons aren't enforcing it. But then that causes like people to get frustrated with you and like leaving or not tipping you or leaving you a 1-star review. So yeah, boundaries are hard in walk-in salons, because it's like they are so used to the normal walk-in salon, like what they probably grew up doing. And so they come into like a more traditional sense, or more like more slower pace. They are like, what this is so crazy, I don't understand. And so then you feel kind of like, I remember in the beginning of when I was doing nails, I was like, am I even knowing what I'm talking about? Because all these other salons are doing wrong things, or like bad practices. And yeah, the boundaries were really hard in the beginning to set, because it seems like the boundary was already set with other salons before I even started, So yeah, it was just like staying stern on your on your license, because yeah, you could lose it.
Right, you're like getting gaslit by the other
yes by the others
salons.
That they're not even around, and they're getting gaslit. Yeah.
Totally, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So now, is it booth rent that you work in the salon that you're at now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like you're fully your own boss.
Yes.
And run your own situation and everything. What sort of what's the hardest part about that for you?
On like running my own business. It's just being consistent. Like, social media is like, it's, as much as like I say I hate it, like we still like need it in senses of like our portfolio or whatever. But that's the struggle. It's like, just keeping myself up to date with what's going on as well, and just staying consistent with, like, oh my gosh, everything, like everyone's schedules, my schedule. It's like so much of that. But in the end, like, I enjoy it. Like, it's just something I enjoy. Like, I love everything about it. So it's like, I feel like believe my clients are like my friends. I feel like we all feel that way. And I don't know, it's become a lot easier. Like, now it's like, especially going through all the things I've been through in my life, like they've become really close to you. So it's a very like, it's so hard to like decide like, oh, are we going to be friends and clients or clients? It's like, it's a very murky water. But if you keep it respectful and boundaries, it's like you can get a long lasting clientele with that. It's like, it's awesome. So I think it's just like you got to remember to yourself like what is important every time, and like just remember just showing up for yourself is what matters in the end. Like, this business is what you put into it. And it's so true. Like, when you don't put any, like, if I'm like lacking in my business, like I'm not, trying as much, like keeping up with my like inventory or like all that stuff, it really sucks, and it lacks so bad. So it's like keeping myself accountable is something that is hard, but it works. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, because it all falls on you. Like,
In the end, yeah.
any success or failure lands on you because you're the one in charge. How have you seen emotions play into those client relationships that you mentioned?
I feel like, to me, it's worked out for me. I feel like a lot of my clients and I have established like a good rapport with, like, like, you can lean on me if I can lean on you, kind of thing. And like, because that is so true. Like, we are like therapists, like we're glorified therapists and accountants and all that. And it's like, there's been, like, I just had like an emotional experience yesterday. Like, my client, her dog passed away, and then she really wanted me to like paint a little portrait on her finger.
Stop.
Yeah, right. And so it's like, that's an emotional thing. And I remember someone had told me one time, it's like, even though maybe your nails might suck, sometimes people can just remember how you made them feel in your chair. And that really did stick with me, because I feel like a lot of the times the clients I have that I've had now for as long as I've had have just stayed with me because they just like our banter. They like how I make them feel. Like, I listen to them, because some of these people come in and they've like, maybe they don't have a lot going on in their life. Like, they work a lot, and then this like getting their nails done is their most social they can get, or maybe just get a little peace and quiet. And so a lot of emotions come out. A lot of things come out. Like, they have a lot to talk about sometimes. And like, not saying like being a nail tech you have to be a therapist, because I know some nail techs don't talk about it a lot with like their emotions, which is totally fine. You don't have to. Me, I am that way. And so I feel like that's why a lot of clients come to me in a sense, because I make them feel safe and like respected. And I think that's the most important part. It's like they feel safe and respected, and they feel heard, and that's why they come back.
I have had like a handful of clients lose their dogs, and every time I just like cry with them.
Yeah.
I can't even help it. Like, as soon as someone talks about a dog that passed away, tears.
Yes.
Like, and those experiences are really, really emotional, but also bonding. Like, you and your client will just like always remember that, going through those things together, and those relationships become so important. And I love what you said about making people feel safe, and like, it's like that's the part that they'll remember about you, even if like their nails weren't perfect or whatever. But that's a really important experience for them.
Yes.
I'm curious if those emotions kind of shared between nail tech and client, like between you and your client, if those ever kind of like weigh on you as a nail tech.
I can understand why some people it would. Like, some people just don't have the emotional capacity. And sometimes there's days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. Because you hear, the world right now, and then you hear about what's going on with people's lives right now. And it's like, then it weighs on you. You're like, dang, it's like a lot. But I don't know, like I've said too, like I tell my clients, like, if you lean on me, then I'm going to lean on you back. Because like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm not a therapist. So I've made it very clear, like, we don't need to like make too much of the emotional charge on each other, but it's good to like talk our emotions out together. And I think that's what's helped. Like, I'm not like taking the role of a therapist. I'm more like a friend, just listening and like kind of giving my point, and then like also like, okay, well now it's my turn to tell you what's going on in my life. And so it's a balance, honestly. And then sometimes sometimes it's like safe to say to some people, like, I'm really not in the mood to talk about these things. And people are really respectful about that. When I first started thinking about saying that, I remember being like, well, what if they hate me? Or because that's why they always come, because we always talk about like hard stuff or whatever. But people are more than happy not to talk about hard stuff. You just tell them like, hey, I don't really feel the mood to like talk about that. And yeah, people are more than happy to like, because I'm also like a comic relief in some sort too. Like I'm also a stand-up comedian. You know, don't you feel that way? And
like I'm hilarious.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel like I'm good at changing the subject too, like learning how to change the subject to make it more lighthearted. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, getting good at learning how to change the subject, or like setting the boundary, or like speaking up and saying like, hey, I'm not really in the space right now to talk about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but that's really not as scary as it seems. Like I remember what felt that way, but it's really not.
Yeah, I think something maybe that's not spoken about much is how when big events happen in the world, which are happen every other day, there's something crazy that happened.
Yeah.
And taking so many back-to-back clients in a day as a nail tech, you end up speaking on the same thing over and over and over, and hearing everyone's different opinions about it. And I personally try to just like stay neutral about things, especially things that can be divisive.
Yes.
And that can be really taxing, doing that day in and day out about, you know, the world events happening and all the emotions tied into those. And that can really weigh on you as a nail tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like, but I've noticed a lot of people are really good at like putting that like on their social media, or maybe even like making a little sign that's like, hey, let's keep politics out the door, or like because yeah, like it is exhausting talking about the same thing over and over again, especially when it's just doom and dread the whole time. So yeah, like being neutral is hard too, especially when you've like heard it all day and got all these different opinions. So yeah, that's another thing that's really hard on us, especially just like listening to what's going on, because we also like worry like what's going to happen, like what's going to happen with them, or what's going to happen with the world. It's crazy. We can tell what's going on, what's happening, and we can feel it with our clients. But right now I just feel like the best thing for me is like the only way we can feel good is if we're like united in moments like this. And so just like keeping it a minimum of being like, hey, the salon is a safe space. We forget that everything that is bad is out the door, and then we come in here and we'll just talk about other things that are good, you know, because like sometimes people are so politically charged, you know, and so it's like good to just, you tell them like it's good to like leave it at the door, and people are really respectful about that. Mm-hmm. So like again, boundaries and being accountable for yourself, and like, hey, let's not talk about this.
Yeah. Is that the best way? Or let me just ask you this, what's the best way to enforce a boundary like that? If you've been, you know, talking about something with, you know, 4, 5, 6 clients already, and your 7th client comes in and wants to talk about it, what's the best way to set the boundary that, hey, I'm not really vibing this topic anymore?
Yeah. I mean, it's like usually my clients who are the last ones of the day, they usually get it. They usually know that I'm tired. Like, you're my last client of the day. Like, I don't really want to talk much. But usually, like, I just sit there and, like, I will hear them out for a little bit, but then I'll explain to them, like, yeah, I've heard this, like, all day today. And I hear you, and, you know, maybe we could, like, revisit it another time. But, like, right now I can't talk about it. And honestly, it's like, they're like, oh, okay. And then we'll just, you know, like, getting to the art of changing the subject. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, the art of changing the subject is going to be, like, the best. Because sometimes people come back to it even though they say they're going to stop talking about it. So it's like getting good at changing the subject and like finding lighthearted things to talk about. Like literally anything, like their dog, like, or their cat, or anything. Like they will change the subject once you give them something like that.
What are some of your best tips for the art of changing the conversation?
So like, oh my gosh, like there's like so many times where, you know, it's like they say something totally crazy, or it's like, oh, I don't know how to respond to that. And so I'll just be like, you know, so my cat did this crazy thing the other day, and I just like, it's just like good at just pretending like they care about whatever you got to say.
Yeah.
And usually people do. They really do. Like they'll talk about anything, like anything subjects wise. Like, oh, well, you know, what's your favorite soda? Or like, oh, if I were to like do this, what would you think about that? And then people kind of like the randomness of like a confusing question, or maybe like asking them something they're not expecting to change the subject, because yeah, when people don't expect you to ask that question, they're gonna be like, what? Okay, and then completely forget what they were talking about. So it's like, yeah, completely changing it. I mean, like completely change the subject. Like, let's not even talk about the world. Let's talk about something so small, like your cat, your dog, or like your mom, or like why you are beefing with your sister, or like anything. And so like, and usually when it's like something like that they are like very, like if you know your client, you know they like have like something in their life that they're very passionate about, just like choose that and like, so how's that going? Then they will change the subject. So yeah, just finding something about your clients that you're like, you know, it's not good to talk about with them, and steer clear from those conversations when you get them. Like I have a client that I have to like leave a note and be like, don't talk about this because I don't want to hear what they have to say. I keep hitting this. And you just like remember to yourself, like, yeah, don't talk about this. And when we talk about this, I'll bring this up every time. Because usually some people love talking about it in their kids. Just bring up their kids and they'll change the subject. So anything like that, like lighthearted stuff.
I love asking, what are you going to have for lunch?
Yeah.
Or, what are you going to have for dinner tonight?
Yeah, what are you having for dinner tonight? And they'll be like, I don't know. What are you having for dinner? And they're like, I don't know. And then next, the conversation's completely changed and they forgot what they were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. What advice would you give to any nail techs out there, or just beauty professionals? Because I feel like hairstylists and estheticians really have shared experiences with having emotions that come along with being a beauty service provider. What advice would you give any of them who are struggling with just sort of like the overwhelm of the emotionally taxing side of doing the job?
I just feel like it's good to just remember to take breaks for yourself. Because I do that too, where I work so much and then I get overwhelmed and I feel like I'm doing multiple things at once. And you gotta remember like taking breaks. Like you might feel overwhelmed and it's just like you feel overwhelmed for now. Just like remember, just pace yourself. Because I feel like we take on so many jobs because if like we're self-employed, like we tend to think we can do everything. And it's okay to ask for help. You know, like if you have somebody in your life that can help you out, ask them to help you out. And it's okay to ask for help. And also, you know, just remember to take breaks and give yourself a day off. Eat your lunch. You know, like that's the thing. We always forget to like take a break. And that's when we get so burnt out. And that's why I feel like some people end up exiting the beauty industry completely because they just overexerted themselves and then they just couldn't keep up anymore. And just remember, like that happens. You're gonna get tired, and just remember, it's like okay to like go ghost for a minute, or like you don't have to post on social media, or you don't have to always be 100% for your clients. You know, just being like very communicative and just being like, hey, I don't feel like talking, or just being like, oh, I need to take a couple days off for myself. Just remember to just take care of yourself, and like we need self-care as well because we forget that as well as it's like we always give people the service of like looking good, and then we forget we also need that. And that's also, I feel like, where we always get so burnt out because we don't make time for that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for saying that. I personally just like needed to be reminded of all that because yeah, I feel like I get in this mindset of like, I can do it all. Yes. I can do it all. And I do for a while. I do way too much. And then I'm like crashing and burning and just feeling so overwhelmed. So that's such a good reminder. Do you have any final thoughts on like the emotions and the emotional side of being a nail tech that you want to share before we wrap it up?
I think, yeah, just like the whole like synopsis of it is like every time you do nails or any time you work, you're always going to compare yourself, or sometimes you're always going to feel bad about like maybe a service you provided or something. Just remember, it's like consistency is the best thing. You can only get better. You can't get worse. There's no way. You can only get better. And this is a hard job in like with emotions and on our body. And our job is hard. Like, you know, even if you work part-time or full-time or no days off or some days, it's a hard job, and it's like important to take care of ourselves too. Like we're not therapists, and we're not all these other jobs like accountants and social media managers. Like we're a person, and we need to remember that we can't do everything, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take a break, eat your lunch, and just like not make yourself available to your clients 24/7. Like it's okay to just relax. Like I feel like we always want to be go 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 because we feel like our clients' lives are always chaotic and we want to keep up with their lives, but you got to remember about yourself. And then in the end, you're still serving your clients by being yourself and being 100% because you're not so exhausted and tired and don't know what to talk about because you're so emotionally drained.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Thanks so much for sharing all that, and thanks for being here. Thanks for coming on today and chatting about this. I feel like this was a really timely thing to talk about just for me personally,
Yeah.
so I appreciate it. And where can everybody find you to follow along?
I'm just Cute Nails by Maddy on Instagram. Just all one word. It's Maddy, not Madie.
Awesome. And we will link that all in the description. And thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Beauty Connective podcast. If you're a beauty professional who wants to help us revolutionize the beauty industry and make it easier for clients to find you and for you to find clients, create your profile today at thebeautyconnective.com.